Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, April 2, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that the entire Atlantic basin is being dominated by ridges of high pressure, one right here to the north of the Caribbean, and one right here to the northwest of Africa. And this high pressure ridge is definitely going to be responsible for sending all of those easterly trade winds off of the Sahara Desert in Africa across the main development region into the Caribbean, and then eventually bring some amount of dust to the Caribbean later on in April. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can still see some low level patches of clouds pushing from east to west in that easterly flow of trade wind. Definitely bring some amount of rainfall to sections of the eastern Caribbean, especially the windward islands where we're getting in on a lot of rainfall, maybe some isolated flash flooding taking place. Even into sections of northern South America getting in on some amount of thunderstorm activity. And we can see some high cold cloud tops being streaked off to the northeast. All of the moist air and activity taking place across northern South America. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean's weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, April 2. It was stated that we would have received some early morning rainfall across sections of eastern Jamaica. Then we would have received some amount of afternoon isolated rainfall across sections of some central western parishes. And just for reference, we know eastern parishes in Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, so Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes in Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, so St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes in Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, so St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Trelawney, St. James, and Hanover. And what ended up happening? As early as 7:36 a.m., a post was made on our Twitter page. And keep in mind that these posts aren't only made on our Twitter page, but on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. On our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as there are posts that are made on those sites that are not made here on our YouTube platform. We can see the visible satellite images confirming the rainfall that was predicted for eastern Jamaica. So definite section of St. Mary, Portland, section of St. Thomas got some amount of isolated shower activity this morning. Then during the afternoon, the visible satellite image was posted at 4:16 p.m. and it highlighted some clouds bringing isolated showers to sections of Westmoreland and Hanover, and we even saw that even better on the Cuban Doppler radar images. And we also saw some clouds building right there across southern St. Mary, southern St. Anne, just as predicted. That brought some amount of isolated shower activity to those spots. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can see we still had those clouds building and bring some isolated showers to sections of southern St. Mary, southern St. Anne, sections of St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland did indeed get on that isolated shower activity. And if we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images, we can see that all of those clouds are starting to dissipate, making way for clearer skies tonight. If we take a look at the latest Cuban Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall that was affecting sections of western Jamaica this afternoon, right there off the west coast of the island, as represented by those greens and yellows that represent light, moderate, even slightly heavy rainfall. If we take a look at the temperatures, right now, temperatures 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Could be a bit warmer than that, but as we know, The temperature should be getting lower as the night progresses. This is the forecast for 3 a.m. on Wednesday, and we see Montego Bay having 22 degrees Celsius, Kingston having 23 degrees Celsius. And as relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18Z on Wednesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And we see Jamaica embedded in some grays and some slight yellowish colors that represent anywhere from 0, which is average temperatures, to 1, maybe even close to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. We know the normal temperatures for the month of April across Jamaica are about the same as 88 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 88 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperatures on Wednesday. If we take a look at the dry air map, we can still see a lot of dry air plaguing the basin, reaching all the way from Africa across the main development region into the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. We can see a lot of moist air right there across the southeastern Caribbean as represented by these blues, which represents or which makes sense considering the rainfall that they're experiencing across the southeastern Caribbean as we speak. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, we see that the Caribbean and Jamaica should be in the clear as all the browns that represent the Saharan dust should be plaguing the waters of the main development region. As relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, we still see that both the Euro and the GFS models are showing more so in the way of blues surrounding the island, as we can see by the key on the bottom right. The blues are representative of anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, and that's because the winds are going to be coming in from the southeast for the most part. And we see the winds are going to be coming in at an average pace anywhere from maybe 5 to 10 to even 15 knots, maybe even gusting to 20 knots in some spots. And it's possible that whatever piles up will be piling up across sections of some northern and western parishes during the afternoon to bring some amount of isolated afternoon shower. We'll see exactly how that goes. Maybe sections of St. James or Hanover might get on some isolated afternoon rainfall on a Wednesday. But as it relates to whatever happens in the morning, whatever comes off of the sea could definitely bring some isolated showers to sections of maybe some southern and eastern parishes in Jamaica. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. Either way, both the rainfall forecast 1 hour totals from the Euro and the GFS are showing some blues that represent rainfall, as we can see by the key on the bottom. We see the blues across sections of eastern Jamaica, so maybe sections of Portland, St. Thomas getting in on that rainfall, maybe even spilling into sections of some southern parishes. We see southern southern Clarendon getting in on some of the action, and that's valid for 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 a.m. Jamaica time. Skipping ahead now to about 8 a.m., we see much of the same, some blues that represent rainfall across sections of some southern and eastern parishes in Jamaica. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we know, is 7 a.m. Jamaica time. Then if we actually skip ahead to a couple of hours later, we see that everything should have cleared out by then. 2 p.m., which is 1 p.m. Jamaica time. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. Not much to see here, so it looks like majority of whatever rainfall that we're gonna be receiving tomorrow will be plaguing the island in the morning hours. And we see that both the accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus that whatever rainfall we should get will be affecting sections of some eastern parishes, maybe some northwestern parishes as well. Euro showing up to 0.15 of an inch of rainfall. GFS showing up to 0.09 of an inch of rainfall. Drastically different in terms of the rainfall totals, but the location where the area shaded for rainfall is similar to eastern and western Jamaica. And we're indeed grateful that we're going to be getting some kind of rainfall tomorrow, as little as it may be and not necessarily in the spots that we want to see them. We're indeed grateful that some places are getting rainfall, and it should be even getting wetter as we further down into the middle to latter part of April, not to mention getting into the rainy month, the secondary rainy season month of May. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So, as stated, we have a lot of activity taking place across sections of the Eastern Caribbean associated with numerous stalled troughs pushing from east to west. Definitely bring some amount of rainfall to sections of that area to the south of Antigua and Barbuda, so Guadeloupe, Dominica, sections of Martinique, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, especially getting in on the action, especially sections of Venezuela, even spilling into sections of the ABC Islands. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images for today across the northeastern Caribbean, we can see where we indeed had that rainfall starting from 1:30 to 5 p.m. plaguing sections of St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica getting in on the action as well. And we see that rainfall definitely meandering, pushing from east to west for the most part. Also, some rainfall across sections of northeastern and southwestern Puerto Rico. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images of the Windward Island from the Barbados radar side, we see that rainfall that has definitely been plaguing sections of the Windward Islands today. So sections of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, sections of Barbados definitely got in on the action, and they're still going to be getting in on some more rainfall tonight. Even sections of Trinidad and Tobago, we see those blues, greens and yellows that represent light to moderate even heavy rainfall at times. They were definitely getting in on that rainfall today, and there's definitely still more rainfall to come. If you take a look at a wider view of Doppler radar images now, we can see some amount of rainfall affecting sections of French Guiana and Colombia as usual. As relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we see above normal temperatures plaguing northern South America, sections of Central America, anywhere from Florida southward, so the Bahamas, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and majority of the Eastern Caribbean should be getting at some amount of above normal temperatures, while all the below normal temperatures should be plaguing the central US, not to mention that area across northern and eastern Mexico. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, we see that majority of the Caribbean should be in the clear for that time, as all the browns that represent the Saharan dust should be plaguing the waters of the main development region. As it relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, we see that across the Caribbean we're going to be getting in on those blues. As you can see by the key on the bottom right, the blues are representative of anywhere from 1 to 1.5, maybe even close to 2 meter wave heights, especially right there to the north of Colombia where we see those purples. And that's because the winds for the most part are going to be coming in from the east, averaging anywhere from maybe 5 to 10 to even 15, maybe even gusting to 20 knots in some spots, as all of this air curls around the ridge of high pressure that's definitely pushing towards the east. And right there we can also see the outline of a cold front across the Gulf of Mexico for that time period. As relates to the rainfall forecast now, we know the whites and the grays represent little to no rainfall at all. We start to see an increase in rainfall as we can see by the key on the right. So light green, dark green, yellows, gold, red, and we do see that we're going to be getting on some slight isolated shower activity for sections of Jamaica, sections of Florida, the waters of the Gulf of Mexico right there associated with that cold front. And we also see some amount of rainfall in store for sections of Haiti, Puerto Rico, and we're looking for a consensus to what both maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing. So some more isolated shore activity definitely in store for sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique. And then we have an increase in the rainfall now with the darker shades of greens, yellows, oranges, reds as we move southward to sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, sections of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. Looking southward now, we see some of that rainfall that we mentioned across sections of French Guiana. Getting in on the action as well will be Guyana, section of Venezuela, Colombia definitely gonna be getting a lot of rainfall. Not to mention sections of Panama right there, maybe even spilling into sections of Costa Rica. And we can also see some slight rainfall intersection of Guatemala and southwestern Honduras as well, maybe even spilling into sections of El Salvador right there. I know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.